In today's world, we are constantly being bombarded with issues regarding our own health. We now know that most of the things that we thought were healthy in the past maybe aren't so healthy, and sometimes it does feel overwhelming to try to course correct all of that. One of our sponsors today, of course, is the Esoteric Academy, which is an online mystery school that my friend Paula and I have set up. For those who are new here, my job offline, I am the only female in the state of Georgia to hold an authorization from KPJAYI in Mysore, India, meaning that I've spent a lot of time in India studying traditional yoga, Ayurveda, all that kind of stuff. And long before I was ever on YouTube, and long before there was this new surgence of people wanting to do things more holistically, this was the world that I was living in. Now, for traditional yoga, a lot of the work in traditional yoga is very, very, very different from what we see in the Western world with Vinyasa flow. Surprise, surprise, Vinyasa flow is not actually yoga. So what I have done is I have taken all of my education and I have meticulously created all these different workout programs for all levels of athletic ability to help you understand the mechanics of the body from an Ayurvedic and a holistic perspective. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, I have taken this and I've fused this information into bar classes, into walking classes, into strength training classes, into beginner level stretch classes. I really want to make this information accessible to you because I personally believe in freedom and utter freedom, and I think for a person to be totally sovereign and to be totally free is that person's ability depends on that person's ability to take their own health back into their hands. We also know that sometimes for people, going to the gym or going to a yoga studio can be very overwhelming. And so with the Esoteric Academy, you're getting a master teacher, myself, along with other master teachers. We only have master teachers on the Academy where you can work on this stuff in the comfort and the privacy of your own home. Nobody is there watching you. Nobody is there judging you. And you have access to me and other teachers to help guide you on this journey. We know that weight is a thing that a lot of people struggle with, and so we have recently just created an Ayurvedic workbook for people to be able to print off and use as a template to try to figure out what their dosha is so that they can figure out what foods they should be eating, because I have found in my experience that a lot of people who think they have a weight issue really don't. They're just eating the wrong foods for their body, and that depends on your disposition, and that's your dosha. And so we have this workbook for you to print, to take, to put it on your refrigerator, to try to figure out what foods are actually going to work for you and what foods aren't. So not only are you going to be able to lose the weight, but your body is going to be performing at a higher level because you are feeding your body what it needs and what nutrients that your body actually needs in order to move forward. We now know that physical exercise not only is the foundation of spiritual health and mental health, we're also learning now how unbelievably important it is for the aging process. We know that strong legs, the stronger we can get your legs, the less likely you are to face dementia later in life. We know that after we hit the age of 40, that we start losing bone density. And so we use a lot of exercises at the Esoteric Academy to strengthen that bone density, to strengthen the core, to help the cognitive ability of the brain stay young and stay supple. Now, because we have put this online, we are able to lower the rates pretty low. I've paid like thousands of dollars for my education, and most of this stuff, if you were to do it in a shala or a studio, would be way more expensive because of limited seating. So what we've done is we have been able to lower these prices to $25 a month for the first tier, which is just the exercise videos alone, and $40 a month for the second tier, which includes all of the exercise videos as well as all of the courses that you can take. Now, on top of that, we also have a live class once a month, as well as a live tutorial class once a month. This month, July, on July 13th, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we are going to be having Cindy Ola on. She's a master teacher herself, and she is going to be giving a lecture over her perspective over the technique of somatic healing, which soma means body. Later on this month, we will have the live exercise class, which is actually going to be a little bit different than what we normally do. It's going to be a surprise. We also have a community board where all of our beautiful students are able to communicate with each other and support each other, and that gives the students greater access to Paula and myself and all the other teachers who participate on the academy so that we can support you as best we can from a virtual platform. Now, on top of that, with the exercises, we already have a full library full of so many different workouts, but you also get new workouts, 2 to 4 new workouts a month on top of a live class a month. Now, if you use discount code BRICE20, BRICE20, all caps at checkout, you will get 20% off the first 6 months of your tuition at the Esoteric Academy. So if you pick Tier 1 for 6 months, you'll get a discounted rate, 20% off of $25 a month. If you pick Tier 2, you will get 20% off of $40 a month for the first 6 months of your time with us. On top of that, you also get 7 days of a free trial. So if you're still not sure, but you want to just try it out, go ahead and try it out because you get 7 days for free. And after that week of trying it out, you decide it's not worth it for you, you can always cancel your membership, no problem. So if you've been looking for a way to work out, to get healthy, but you've been nervous about going to the gym or a yoga studio, then this is ideal for you. Again, the prices are so low. $25 is literally the price of one drop-in for one class in a yoga studio, and you get an entire month of a library full of exercises. So we really hope that you take advantage of this offer and join us over on the Esoteric Academy. All the information will be down in the description box below. Let's get back to the show. We always do this after we.
I could do that.
We always hit record and they go, shoot, who's opening?
I know, we always forget, don't we? Okay, how about I'll go this time. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Empowered Spirit Healing. My name is Paula, and today I have the beautiful Bryce from Esoteric Atlanta. How are you going today, Bryce?
I'm so excited. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited too, because we have some exciting news, don't we?
Yes, yes, we do. We are growing and growing and growing, and we're taking you guys with us.
Yep, absolutely.
We had we had an incredible talk with Cindy Ola.
We
Wasn't that
did.
so good on
Oh
Sunday?
my God, I loved it. And I really hope that we'll be able to have her back again soon because that was amazing.
Cindy,
Yeah.
as you guys know, we're doing somatic summer and somatic healing, and so I brought Cindy on because she is Anusara trained as far as the lineage of yoga, but she's more that's just like part of what she does. She's a healer. She's Reiki. She's a master Reiki, and she's of Peruvian descent. So she's very connected to her Peruvian heritage and through the healing arts from her Peruvian ancestors. And so she does things like the Muna Key rites. She gave me my Muna Key rites. We make mesa. She talked to the mesa bags, which I have um, my mesa bag that I made with Cindy a while ago right here, which we talked about that. And she also works a lot with the elements of, earth, fire, air, water, which we have all in our body, right? Like I know people might think that's weird, but we have all of these elements within our own body too. And so we did a talk with her about somatic healing, and it was amazing what she was able to talk about the earth element. And she basically kind of reiterated everything I say, didn't she, Paul?
Yeah, but it was so fascinating to hear that and to hear what parts of our body is kind of like earth and what's like air and water and fire and how that all affects us on a physical level in terms of healing and in terms of movement and exercise and things like that. So it was really good. It was really fascinating. But yes, it does pretty much align up with everything which you talk about, but it's just coming from the shaman perspective, which I love. I've learned a bit about shamanism. She's just singing along. Scarlett's just singing along, and I'm like, oh God. Yeah, what were we talking about the shaman perspective? Yeah, because I've learned a bit about shamanism, and I just think it's so fascinating, and just hearing the different traditional kind of the different cultures and the different kind of ideas about spirituality and stuff, but then how they both align together. It's just, yeah, it's really fascinating. And Cindy's just such a beautiful person. So it was just great
Yeah.
chatting
She's
with
so
her.
cool. Cindy's like one of the coolest. I've known Cindy actually longer than I've known Todd. And she
Oh,
is
wow.
one of the most laid back, like easygoing, like totally awesome to be around. She's not demanding. She's just very, she doesn't micro, I teach for her and she never micromanages. She's very much respectful of all these different lineages and allows them to play out in the way that they need to play out. She doesn't, which is a good healer when you're allowing different lineages. You know, when I taught once at a studio where they were trying to build a Mysore program and they kept trying to micromanage the way I taught Mysore, which is not, was basically handicapping me as a teacher because they didn't want us teaching certain, but that's the lineage. So you can't tell me I can't teach backbending when the lineage calls for it. It's like, but you want the lineage here, but yet you're trying to control the way the lineage plays itself out. And I respect Cindy so much because she does not, she allows the lineage to the practice to speak for itself.
Yeah.
And basically, if you don't want to take a class that's as hard as Ashtanga, there are other classes on the schedule. It's the student's responsibility to self-govern. It's not the practice's responsibility to modify itself for the student. It's the student's responsibility to modify him or herself for the practice. And so she's
Yeah.
very open to that. And that's why she has so many different types of lineages at her school, is because these lineages don't need to be controlled. They need to be allowed to unfold the way they're supposed to. And if it's not a right lineage for you, we've got other options on the schedule. And
Yeah, which
and
is great.
she's really good. She does a lot of these courses, like a lot of different shaman courses, and I think that really helps students understand that again, a different perspective. It's the same, it's all the same stuff. Like everything that every culture is saying is literally the same thing, but the way they talk about it might be a little bit different. Their vocabulary words around it might be different, but it's literally the same thing. And she spoke a lot about how the bulk of our spiritual work is literally in the mundane.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah,
It's the
definitely.
making the bed, it's the cleaning out the closet, it's doing your exercise every day. It's not these being spiritual isn't grandiose. It's not, you know, the ayahuasca ceremonies are fun to do every now and again, but literally the bulk of your work comes on the daily routine, the
Mhm.
daily discipline. Because it's still, you know, exercising every day, even for me 19 years later, it's a discipline. I have to like,
You still have to actively choose to do it, don't you? It's not just I mean it does become a habit, but you still have your ego.
well, you get
I know when
after
I get up in
sometimes
the
it gets
morning.
boring. Sometimes the spiritual work
Yeah.
is boring. Sometimes
Hmm.
it is.
Yeah.
But you still
It's not
do it.
always exciting. It's not always going on retreats and having big epiphanies and big moments. Sometimes it's just the little daily steps that we take and the little
Yeah.
daily habit. Yeah.
They're not flamboyant. They're not, you know, they're just these boring things you do that eventually, but you think about it like water runs by the same rock for
Mhm.
one day, it doesn't change the rock. But water
Yeah.
running by the same rock over a long period of time will change the formation of the rock. You're the
Yes.
rock. And so you're doing this work not one day, not 2 days, not 3 days, a whole lifetime to change,
Yeah.
to slowly change. And sometimes the change happens so slowly that you don't even recognize that the change is happening until years later. You can look back and see that you've changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even with the body, sometimes it does take time for your body to start changing as well, you know. That's why you can't really go into it with if you're going into it for vain reasons, you're not really going to get great results, because long term you need something stronger than just looking good in a bikini.
Oh yeah.
And properly exercising without, silly restrictive dieting and stuff like that, is going to take several months for you to start to see a difference happening in your body. It's, you need to have that constant commitment. So it's like the water running on over the rock. It's not going to be just, oh, I do one workout and boom, you're looking great. It's going to take that continual practice. Yeah. And so it takes quite a few months, but it's so worth it because it not only is your body going to look and feel better, but you get stronger, you have more fitness, and your heart starts to function better. All the organs in your body, you're detoxing, you're releasing emotions. I mean, there's just so many benefits. It's incredible.
It's
Yeah.
funny, I was telling you, and I did a video about this that you guys have probably already seen if you're on my channel, about the whole soul cycle, which was a big, there's a seven-part docu-series on YouTube. It's fantastic about, for the Americans, you guys probably remember Soul Cycle. It was big in the 2010s. It was really, um, a big phenomenon. It was a spinning class basically from this one, and this teacher, one of the main teachers, had created this template where she had this epiphany one day, like in the 90s, that exercise is actually spirituality, which, I mean, India's been saying that for 5,000 years, but the West, it took us a while
A
to
bit slow.
realize, a little slow on that exercise is really nothing but a spiritual practice. That's all it is, really. At the end of the day, it's a spiritual practice. And so she
Yeah.
created, and that's why it's called soul cycle. Your soul is writing, is cycling. And which is a fantastic, the only thing she left out, so she takes the students on this journey. The only thing she left out of her template was the integration period at the end of the exercise. So that's something that we really strive to do on the academy. And I say this because this is kind of the point that you were talking about. When we look at the body changes, when you are in the climax of the workout. So like we start the first 7 to 10 minutes is, I call it the initiation of practice because I'm coming from a spiritual perspective. The gym might call it the warm up.
Mhm.
But I feel like if we look at it to what it really is spiritually, it's initiation. It starts to make more sense. The first 7 to 10 minutes of practices, or exercise, workout, whatever you want to call it, that's usually the hardest, right? It takes about 7 to 10 minutes, not necessarily for the body to get into the groove, but for the mind to get into the groove. So even
Yeah.
though there's different things we have to do to the body to get the body, we don't just all of a sudden go from sitting sedentary to just running at full speed, right? We have to like slowly get the blood pumping, get the blood, get the joints loosened up, stretch them out, a little actively stretching them out. We're not going to do solitary stretches ever in the beginning. It's always going to be an active stretch, which is a totally different conversation because I think people are really confused about what stretching actually is. But nonetheless, we take the first 7 to 10 minutes to warm the body up, but also get the mind to a space where it's in that active meditation, where it's not
Mhm.
resisting as much anymore. It's released a little bit of its resistance. So then we get to the climax of the workout where it's really hard and you're at max capacity, whether that's cardiovascularly lifting weights and the yoga practice, whatever, where you're really working. During that time, your body at that point is not healing. What's happening at that point is your body is going through total destruction, which Cindy
Mhm.
kind of spoke about, right? That you
Yeah, she
able
did.
to stand in the fire so the fire can burn away what is
Oh,
it. She was talking
yeah.
metaphorically for your life, but this also happens in a daily workout too, where the fire, the sweat, the blood pumping is like actually burning away stuff. It's
Yeah.
destruction. It's the blood, anytime you're contracting a muscle, the blood is running into the muscle. The muscle is being ripped apart by the motion. That's why you get sore. And then that building back is what makes the muscle stronger and more toned. So people who are toned have gone through a lot of muscle tearing in order
Yeah.
for that to build back.
Mhm.
So we're in total destruction. So your body is actually not healing. It's in
At
fight
that
or
time.
flight
Yeah.
at that time. The cortisol, we want to spike your cortisol for that. We are trying to get your body into that place where it can actually shift and change
Yeah.
after the practice. But during that time, it's in survival mode. What is happening though spiritually at that time is happening with the mind, because that's
Mhm.
the spiritual element to the destruction of the body, is the mind's ability to stay focused. We have And I'm telling you, I get this a lot with beginners, where beginners, I think they think that people who've been exercising a lot don't have that mental chatter anymore. You're always going to have the mental chatter.
Yeah.
It's never going to go away. You have a brain for a reason, right? The difference is a more experienced student is going to be able to handle the mental chatter better.
Yeah.
As I said in the video that I finished yesterday, like when your mind's going, I can't do this, I can't do this, you need to be able to hear that voice in your head and rest into your body, rest into your soul, so your soul can say, watch me, watch me. So you have this tug of war going on between the soul and the mind. And that
Yeah.
becomes the spiritual mental focus. Because even though that's going on, Millie,
Millie's thumbs
I
up.
saw her tail.
Yeah.
Even though the mental chatter is going on consistently, you're still moving and staying in that moment. Well,
Mhm.
after we go through that climax and we're done, everything's been sweated out, everything's been opened, and that destruction has happened. What the mistake Soul Cycle was making is that they were just ending the classes there. And so you're
Mhm.
leaving the class with your adrenaline pumping, your cortisol levels are spiked, your body's still in this desperate, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, blood's pumping. They didn't do the integration. And so
Mhm.
that's something that we pride ourselves on at the Academy, is that we absolutely, with every single class, regardless of whether it's a stretch and strength class, a yoga class, a bar class, a cardio class, we take you on that journey and we close it out, we finish it. So that's why we do more stagnant stretching at the end, and then we have you lay on your mat for a couple minutes, because we're allowing the integration to take place. Because during that integration, all the work you've just done, when you're laying there on your mat, because this is something yoga does really well. Like all lineages of yoga do this. They understand this. When you're laying on your mat after a workout, it's like the best feeling in the world. It's a very peaceful
Yeah.
feeling. But what you're feeling
I
in your
love it.
body is the blood rushing up and down your body. So you're
Mhm.
giving your body and your blood, which is your sacred DNA, your sacred elixir of healing, most powerful potent healing elixir anybody can have, is their own blood, right? So you're allowing your blood to now move up and down the body because it's open. You're hot, you're warm, you're not rigid, and so it's able to scan through the body and start repairing immediately what you just moved. And that's the integration. So that blood and its intelligence, and the body, its intelligence, is using that blood to integrate all that information that was just pulled apart in the workout. And then
Mhm.
it only takes a couple of minutes. It's not like you're laying there for an hour. It's like 5 minutes maybe at the
Mhm.
max. But usually I keep you down for 2 or 3 minutes. And then you slowly get back up and go about your day. So you've taken this whole journey, you from the initiation to the integration. We're closing it. It's like you always have to close out a Ouija board, right?
Yeah.
Close out the practice too. And so and that comes from, so that's one thing Soul Cycle was missing, was that they weren't, that's why there was so many people that had some issues, because they weren't
And
actually finishing it.
were they doing stretching as well as a part of that? Or was it
I think
mainly
they were
just the
doing, it looked like,
cycling?
so we can talk, actually, it's a good point. So I think what I've learned just listening to some of our students and trying to figure out where we need to provide more clarity. And this is something that I've learned on the academy that most people, I guess because I'm coming from a yoga background, so this was always known to me. So I think people have a misunderstanding with stretching, first of all.
Mhm.
I think people think of stretching as sitting down, touching your toes, you know, or taking a
Mhm.
forward fold,
Yeah.
right? And that's one form of stagnant stretching, but that's a very small part of stretching. That's a very minimal part of stretching. Most stretching is actually happening in the action. So, for example, if you do a kick, if you kick your leg,
Yeah.
you're not only contracting the muscle in the
Mhm.
leg and in the core to be able to extend the leg up, but you're also stretching the hamstring in an active way,
Yeah.
right? Bending the knees. So this is kicking your knees. I do a lot of kickbacks. That's
Yes.
stretching your quad, but it's also contracting your glute, which is the base
Yeah,
of your
how
spine.
cool. Because yeah,
So
you don't think of those movements as stretching. You
it's all
think
stretching.
about them when you're just holding a particular position for a few seconds. You think of that as stretching. But yeah, that's stretching in movement, isn't
That's
it?
active stretching. Yes. So, and that is the healthiest form of stretching. The
Right.
active stretching is what's going to give you the flexibility you're looking for.
Yeah.
It's not going to be sitting down and doing a forward fold. That's
Mhm.
not what's going to give you the mobility and the flexibility that you're looking for.
Yeah.
It's going to be the active stretching that's going to give you that over time. Because if we're not actually looking for flexibility, flexibility is, we're looking for mobility, is what we're looking
Yeah.
for.
So do you think with the soul cycle situation, because it's all spinning, all just being on the bike, do you think it was maybe too much of the same movement?
Yes and no. They would do things with their arms. So there were some active
Okay.
stretching going on.
Yeah.
Now the psoas muscle, and any cyclist is going to have a screwed up psoas. Like, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't degrade every exercise has its minuses and its pluses. Like, there's benefit and there's also negatives. That's just being polarized, right? There's
Mhm.
benefits to running, and there's also drawbacks to running. There's benefits to Ashtanga. There's also drawbacks. So we just have to be educated enough to know how to counterbalance the stuff and know our own bodies. So for some people, having a messed up psoas from cycling, they might not have a lot of psoas issues anyway, so they might not notice it. And
Right.
the psoas, guys, is a big muscle that basically connects like your legs to your torso.
Mhm.
And this is a muscle that needs to be very, very mobile for like back bending, for example. Like, to do a deep back bend, your psoas needs to be pretty open, not weak. So being open doesn't mean the muscle is weak. Open usually means it's strong, but is able to bend.
Mhm.
If your muscle is strong but can't bend at all, we have a problem. That's why I'm
Yeah.
saying we want mobility. If your muscle can bend, but it has no strength to stabilize it, we have a problem, right? We want it to be both strong and open. That's the mobility we're looking for. So in Soul Cycling, they actually do talk about this in the documentary. And I said in my other video, when Soul Cycle got really big, a couple of my friends and I in the Ashtanga world really wanted to go try a class, but we
Mhm.
never went because it would compromise our psoas. And we knew that as like I was really
Mm.
moving progressively forward in my practice, and I didn't want to compromise all the work I was doing in Ashtanga
Of course.
because I was going back and forth to India. Like, it just was not the appropriate time for me to do anything that was going to, no, it would not have affected me mentally, but just the work in Ashtanga, to be that smart, just to know that that's going to compromise. Because in the biking world, you're hunched over, right? You're pedaling
Mhm.
and you're hunched over, even when you stand up. So that psoas muscle, I'll stand up here. That psoas muscle is being contracted like this. But when you're
Mhm.
back bending, you're going back like that, right? So that is an open. And in back bending, back bending, you need to be super strong, right? Because it's strong legs. If you're pushing up into a back bend, strong legs, strong stomach, it's a stomach opener. So that psoas has to be super strong and open.
Right.
But
Mhm.
cycling is going in the opposite direction. So the psoas is more contracted and compacted. So
Right.
a tight psoas muscle can cause back pain. There's a lot of indicators that you can see if your psoas is, a lot of times when people start working their psoas muscle, they have a release in their back pain. It's a major muscle. It's one of the major muscles. That is definitely super, and it's not an accessory muscle. We do have accessory muscles, which I don't even like calling them accessory muscles because every muscle does have a very important purpose. But the
Yeah.
psoas is definitely a muscle that you can't live without. Like it,
Wow.
like think about your leg. If you have to amputate your leg for whatever reason, obviously you can live without your calf muscle.
Mhm.
Your body can still function. But the psoas, that's what connects your body together, the lower and upper body. So it's a super
Okay.
important muscle. And so with the soul cycle, they were doing some active stretching,
Mhm.
but the psoas was not getting the appropriate.
Right.
And so that's but yeah, so when with yoga, with traditional, so for example, something that's really important, and I think personal trainers talk about this more than yoga teachers, and yoga teachers probably should be talking about this more. Again, I've heard this more from personal trainers. You're never going to warm up for an exercise, your initiation, by sitting on the floor and stretching.
Mm.
That's not
Mhm.
smart. You're screwing yourself
Mhm.
up if you do that. Because if you sit in the floor and stretch and then you get up to go do a workout, you're confusing the nervous system.
Mhm. Right.
So what we do
And
is,
then and the body's cold too, isn't it?
Mhm.
Like at that point, you
Yes.
haven't warmed up, you haven't got the blood pumping, the heart racing, yeah, all of that
Yeah,
going on.
absolutely. That's why we do the more stagnant stretching at the end, because we're
Hmm.
trying to cool the body down. We're trying to
Yes.
start the healing process. That's why we hold the long stretches on the floor at the end, because you're already warm, your blood's pumping, you've already gotten your oxygen through your system. And so now we're trying to pull the heart rate down, pull the nervous system down, and elongate the muscle just to allow them. It's not the stretching in the end has absolutely nothing to do with your flexibility. That's not because that's not what's going to give you flexibility anyway at all.
Hmm.
It's just recovery. That's all we're doing is we're recovering the body.
Yeah.
Your flexibility. So in traditional yoga, this is why I prefer traditional yoga to contemporary yoga. How do we start? Surya Namaskar A, Surya Namaskar B. That's active stretching. That's a sun salutation. Your cardio, it's cardiovascular. You're getting your heart
Mhm.
rate up.
Yes, because it certainly does that,
Yes,
doesn't it?
it's not about,
It's you've got to be quite fit to do that. When I've tried doing it, I'm like, wow, this is not
it's
easy. Yeah, it does work you.
traditional
Yeah.
yoga has a lot of aerobic work, a lot of cardiovascular
Hmm.
work in it. That's again why I have such a problem with contemporary yoga. You have to
I
have
get it. Yeah.
the heart
I get
pumping. You have
it.
to get hot. You have to sweat. If you're not
Because,
sweating, we have a
and I
problem.
mean, yeah, and sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I've just kind of noticed as well, like, if I've ever done stretching beforehand, which I don't really do now, but just in the past, if I have done that, I've noticed that you can't really stretch as far as you can beforehand once you've warmed up and got the blood pumping and worked your body and all the muscles are nice and warm. I've noticed that you can stretch so much better. You can go further than you could
Because you're hot.
before.
Rigid things
Because you've
break.
warmed. Yeah, that's
Rigid
right.
things break. So
Yeah,
even in traditional yoga, we're not starting off stretching.
yeah.
Right? We're starting off getting everything hot and sweaty. And I'm following. So the way the primary series of Ashtanga works, the heart rate, the way that it works, you peak your heart at the sun salutations and you drop your heart rate down in the fundamental sequence. Then you peak your heart back up at the start of primary and then it drops again. The heart rate is constantly going up and down intentionally. We could call this
Right.
interval training. The ancient yogis did not call it interval training, but that's kind of modern term for what it is.
That's
And
like
it's
what it
it's
is. Wow.
using the heart and the blood pumping in a very particular way in order to
Uh-huh.
create change in the body, which then of course changes the mind because
Yeah.
the body is the mind field. So I'm following the same template in all these classes. I'm following the exact same template of the primary series of Ashtanga Yoga, even though the moves are totally different.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that is being responsible. You were telling me, Paula, that you saw a personal trainer today and
Yes,
he had
I
said
have.
some of the same things, right? That I had been saying.
I was blown away by this guy. So a friend of mine has been encouraging me to see this personal trainer for a little while, and I was a bit hesitant. I've always been a bit, I don't know. I guess I don't know if it's just different fears or whatever, but I've just always just kind of felt a bit safer working at home where nobody is judging you. But and I am lucky that I have been a pretty self-motivated people. Like some people just are like, nah, there's no way I could work at home. I don't have the discipline to make myself do that. I've always found it just easier just to work from home. I mean, work from exercise from home, work out and stuff like that. So I was a bit hesitant going, but just I think it's all the Instagram reels that we're sharing on the Esoteric Academy is really like, oh my God, I just really want to bring my fitness to the next level. I mean, watching 60, 70-year-old men and women and how fit they are, and I'm like, oh my God, they look amazing and they are so fit and healthy. Like, how amazing would it be to be a grandparent and to be like that,
Have a
to
six
be
pack.
able to yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, how amazing. So I'm just like, okay, I really like I am doing your classes and I love your classes so much, but I do know that I have some weak spots, as everybody does. We
Mhm.
all have our weak
Everybody.
spots.
Everybody. Yeah.
And I guess I just thought it would be good to have somebody can just help me to work on them. It's mainly my left hip because of, I think I shared the story on one of our videos about how I got my foot caught in the bike, my sister's
Yeah.
bike. Yeah, and so that's kind of just caused a bit of an effect from my ankle to my knee, which clicks a bit, and then my hip kind of, it's never really painful, but I think if I don't work with it now, I could imagine it being quite an issue or a potential arthritis issue when I'm older. So it's something that I just really wanted to work on and strengthen. So yes, I went and saw this guy today, and I was just blown away by how many of the things that he was saying that were very in line with what you talk about, Bryce. And that actually made me really cement me wanting to work with him because, well, I mean, I'm pretty biased. I think you're an amazing teacher, and I love your attitude. I love your approach. I love that it's so holistic and well-rounded, but I also love that you're not about you're in this for the long haul. You're not just like, oh yeah, let's just get a hot body and that's it. You're all about the spirituality and how it impacts our life and how we can have a better quality of life.
Mhm.
And this trainer was very similar. So I was really quite impressed with that. And I just think this is so important because I know that it was a really, really long time ago, but I did join a gym when I was like 15 with my friend. We just decided to join the gym together, and part of the joining up package was to have a session with a personal trainer. And it was so different. Like he was literally weighing me, he was measuring me, he even like measured my stomach fat. And I was like, I was pretty lucky I didn't have any stomach fat back then. And I was just like, what is this? And then today it was completely different. There
Yeah.
was no weighing, there was no measuring anything. He just wanted to just know personal things just about like my fitness, well, just kind of like having children, whether that's impacted anything, which is very normal for,
Mhm.
for women and stuff like that. And then he just wanted to see my mobility. He didn't even care about my fitness level. He's like,
Yeah.
well, you're here to get fit. That's going to happen anyway. But he
Yeah.
wanted to know where my weak spots were, where I know that with my left, I'm left-handed, and so sometimes my left neck can get a bit irritated. And I think it's just because I lift and
Mhm.
do everything on my left side a lot more. So it was all about just kind of, yeah, seeing my mobility, seeing what needed to be worked on. And it was so refreshing. I was like, this is how it should be, not
Yeah.
all this kind of very superficial, oh, let's see how much fat we can burn off your stomach
No,
and stuff like that.
it's going to come off and it's going to be the journey isn't
Yeah,
a straight line up. It's going to be cycles. You're going to swell. I swell a lot because I'm constantly exercising. So I know that I'm going to
yeah,
swell some and then it's going to go away. There's a
yeah.
constant yo-yo, and I appreciate that from him because what we're doing the first day we meet a student or a client is we have to know what we're working with.
Uh-huh.
He's got to
Yeah.
know what he's working with. And his job, even though you know your body, he's also going to see things in your body that you're not going to see. He's going to see your blind spots. And we all have blind spots. I have blind spots. That's why I have a teacher too, because I
Mhm.
have my blind spots. That's just part of being human. And part of the teacher or the trainer's job is to be aware of what you're not aware of. And
Yeah.
so, same thing in yoga. Like, I always laugh when we have new students. I always say, don't let Todd freak you out your first couple of days because in the MISO room, he's literally going to sit on his little stool and he's just going to watch you practice. Not even gonna touch you for a few days and he's just going to watch you practice. What he's doing is he's watching your patterning. I was like, that's all
Uh-huh.
he's doing is he's
Yeah.
watching your patterning. He's getting to know your energetic body, your physical body, like where do you carry your weight in your body? He can see again where's the weak spots because we see that in the yoga asana as well. Like we can see in downward dog where somebody's weaker and where somebody's stronger.
Mhm.
So, we have to know that as teachers because that's what we're working with.
Yeah,
And
and it's
it's going to be
important.
different for every single human being. And so that's super important that he wanted to check your mobility. He wanted to check because he needed to know what your rebound was good so that he is able to
Yeah.
serve you in the best of his ability. And it's not cookie cutter. It's not one size fits all. And
No.
I'm so against like, and this is every student, every person is obviously you do you, but I'm very much against weighing. Like I don't
Yeah.
think people should be weighing themselves. I
I
just
don't
don't.
think it's very helpful because you get very attached to a number, and a number is not going to be, it's not realistic because our bodies change and fluctuate so much just within one day. I mean,
Yeah,
drinking
in a
water,
month
eating
with
food,
your
going to the toilet,
yeah.
sweating. it's going to chop and change. If you weighed yourself 3 times throughout the day, it's going to be different every time.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
for women, I hate to say this might be TMI, but your boobs add weight to you, depending on how
Yeah.
big chested you are. I've got like
Hmm.
10 pounds, and so it's that's not so the number on the scales might not be the representation of what you think you look like, right?
Hmm.
It's going to look different. And I just don't find weighing helpful. I know doctors want to know, but they're looking at more from a generalized state of health too.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though I know that if you're overweight, if you need to lose weight, like you don't need the scales to tell you that.
No.
And so it's yeah, I'm not about that at all. I know when you're pregnant, doctors like to chart your weight because that's about the health of the baby. Like we want to make sure you're
Oh, of
eating enough to
course.
keep the baby healthy. Like there's different purposes for weighing that are beneficial, but on for the average person,
Hmm.
not necessary. We have no scales in our house. We don't weigh, not at all. And I think if you're willing, if the student people watching are brave enough, if you throw your scales away and you just rely on your ability to feel in your body, you're not
Yeah.
going to become dependent on them because you're going to be able to subtly feel where things are need to be tightened up, and so
Yeah.
you'll
It's
get to know your
getting to
body
know your
better.
body. Yeah. Getting to know your body in a more personal way instead of depending on something externally. But if you do want an external thing, your clothes let you know. If you
Exactly,
think they're
right?
getting a bit tight, then you're like, oh, okay. Or if they're getting a bit loose, then And then the other thing with the scales thing is the whole muscle mass and fat is so different. I mean, muscle weighs so much more, but it takes up less room. Whereas with the fat, it takes up a lot more space and weighs, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
kind of
I mean,
yeah, so you could actually weigh more by toning up, but
yeah,
then you might be smaller because that's just how the
healthier.
muscle
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
And listen, for
Mhm.
women, like yesterday I filmed the 30-minute flush class because we've had students voting, and so I'm trying to accommodate what people wanted. And so I filmed a 30-minute flush class, which is basically just a cardio class. And I am at the tail end of my cycle right now. So I typically don't practice, and as I advise women, for your first 2 days, let your body detox. But it's funny, I was editing yesterday, and when I'm on my cycle, I feel a little bit swollen in my lower belly because I'm on my cycle. And I was editing it yesterday. I was like, ooh, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna put it up because I'm on my third day of my cycle. So
Yeah,
of
and
course,
that's
like,
amazing that you did that
yeah,
because that shows us that, it's okay if you're
yeah.
feeling a bit, your stomach gets a bit bloated
Bloated because
that
it's
time.
you could see
Yeah.
it was right on my and I was like, no, because I'm on my period. Like it's the third
Mhm.
day, so I'm
That's
good
real
to go.
life.
That's just how it is. And I've did not film anything or practice the first 2 days. It's the third day, it's 30 minute. I have my sports bra on. I could have just put a t-shirt on, but you know what? I'm a woman and it's the third day of my cycle. And so I didn't announce it on the video, but I'm just putting it up because it's a little swollen there. And that's just because that's my uterus. It's not fat. It's just I'm on
Yeah.
my period. So that's just how it is. And so that's life. There's no perfection. There's no such
Yeah.
thing as perfection. And that's one thing too, it's never over. So I want people who are nervous about starting this, it's never over. This is a journey that so no matter how fit someone appears to be, there's still something they're working on. Trust me.
Yeah.
There's still
Mhm.
things they're working on. So, I mean, both Todd and I he's on 32 years now of practice. He's
Wow.
still
That's
every day. He's still working on things. I'm at 19 years. I'm still working on things. So you can't leapfrog to the end because there is no end.
yeah.
You can't do
And
that.
and I mean, I don't know about for you, Bryce, but I've also noticed there'll be cycles. Like there's kind of times where I'll be really quite good and probably work out slightly more because I've got more energy one week. And then another week I might be a bit less because of, women's holiday or because I'm just a bit run down or whatever like that. But I have also noticed there'll be cycles of when I feel like, oh wow, my fitness is really increasing and I'm feeling stronger, and then I might go through like a little bit of a kind of a plateau, I guess, and then it feels like there's not really much changing, and then it'll happen again, and I'm like, oh wow, I've gotten better at that, or I've become more flexible,
Goes like
and
this.
yeah,
It's not a straight line.
because
It's
it's yeah.
constantly, yeah.
And
And
so I think it's just good to share that as well, because you might don't get disheartened if you feel like it's so normal to have those, really good bits where you feel like you're really growing and moving forward with it, and then you kind of have like a bit of a down time or a bit of a plateau, and then it will come back again, because that's nature. Nature goes in cycles like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Um,
And that's reality. That is
yeah,
absolute reality. And it also depends on the time of year for people. So you might notice like it's harder for
yeah,
me in the fall and the spring when we're at the junction of seasons.
yes,
It
yeah,
becomes a little bit more challenging energy wise because the body's trying to, that's the Ayurveda, right? The body's always trying to adapt to its environment. So if the seasons are changing, your body is working to adapt. So you might feel a little more tired in your workout. That's why you
mhm,
never do a cleanse during the junction of seasons. Like never, ever, ever, my friends, hear me when I say, do not do a cleanse in the fall or in the spring.
mhm.
Don't do that. You're gonna mess yourself up. Your body is gonna crash because it's already trying to
So hard,
accommodate.
yeah.
The best times to do a cleanse, middle of summer, middle of winter, when the body is stabilized, right?
Mhm.
Um, in the, we in the traditional yoga world, in the summertime, that's when we add a lot more work because it's hot. The heat helps
Yeah.
us. In the winter, we still work out every day, but we just refine things,
Mhm.
right? Because the
Mhm.
elements of nature are giving us these opportunities. Like that's why animals hibernate, right? To
Yeah.
kind of repurpose and refine what we've already worked on. Then we add the new stuff on when it's hot outside and the body's more adaptable with the heat. So it's common sense, really, when it comes down to one thing I wanted to bring up too that I've noticed, and I know I've said this many times before. Please, 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 please do not compare your chapter one to somebody
Mhm.
else's chapter 10.
Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
Some of these videos, I think people will do them sometimes, and because they couldn't master the video in the first round, they want to quit. Be kinder to yourself, right? You
Yeah.
can't, you're
I
not,
mean, yeah, it is challenging, and like I said, some parts are going to be challenging again, and other times other things will get easier, but you've just got to stick with it, don't you? You've just
you
got to
got to
keep
stick
going.
with it and you just got to keep going.
Mhm.
This is the first time. So I want you to really sit down and meditate on this, contemplate this, because if you're doing a video for the first time, especially if it's an exercise form that you've never done before, and you're putting that pressure on yourself to be perfect the first time, you are putting an unrealistic expectation on yourself.
Yeah.
Be a beginner. Give yourself room to evolve. Give
Mhm.
yourself permission to evolve. If you're not giving yourself permission to evolve and you're expecting yourself to perfectly do an exercise routine like somebody who's been doing it for 19 years, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You're going to disappoint yourself.
Yeah.
It
And
is
then you won't feel
okay.
motivated to stick with it. Yeah, you got to
Exactly.
be kind to yourself. Mhm.
This is not, and I say this in a lot of the videos, these classes are designed for you to do over and over and over
Yeah.
again, right? It takes, I have a friend, I won't say his name because he's not public. He's in the Ashtanga world though. And there's a posture in second series called Dvipada with both feet behind your head. For
Mhm.
5 years, for 5 years, Vatabi Joyce never moved him to the next posture, which is Yoga Nidrasana. He kept him ending at Dvipada. So he was doing all of primary series and majority of like second series, like a 2 hour practice for 5 years without being moved on to the next posture. Six
That's a
days a
lot.
week for 5 years.
Wow.
And that's normal in traditional yoga. So
Yeah.
take this level of expectation off of your shoulders that you're just going to do one workout and it's going to be perfect and you're going to look and do it exactly like the person on the screen who's been doing it for 19 years.
Yeah.
Please do not.
I don't look like Bryce when I work out. And I'm okay with that.
And
I'm
here's
okay with that.
I said this in one of our weightlifting videos because we're starting to do some street training with heavier weights. which that's another thing too, guys. The poundage of weight in your dumbbells depends on the workout you're doing.
Mhm.
People don't know this either. In classes like bar or the soul cycle, they used 1 pound weights. So in like bar fusion classes, we use like 2 to 3 pound weights or no weights because of the way that we're moving your body.
Mhm.
So if you think you're going to pick 5 pound weights up to or 10 pound weights to do this work, the bar fusion work, you're going to hurt yourself because the body is moving in a different way with lighter
Yeah.
weights. It's able to move in it. There's more intricate movement with the joints. There's more flipping the joints with smaller
Mhm.
weights. You add 10 pounds to that, you're going to throw your elbow out. You're going to throw your shoulder out. So when a
Yeah.
teacher tells you lighter weights, they're not condemning you. It's because of the way the workout, what the workout is asking you to do, and heavier. When you do heavier weights, you're doing what's called a deadlift. So when
Mhm.
you are lifting heavier weights, the body is braced into a very secure position to support the weight. So the joints are secure. When you're doing
Mhm.
things like bar and you're dancing with the weights, the joints are not as secure, they're more fluid.
Right.
Okay, so that is the reason why. So I want people to understand that. So don't go take a fusion class and think, well, I can do 5 pounds. You're going to hurt yourself because of
Mhm.
what the movement is asking you to do.
Yeah.
I would rather you use no weights than 5 pound weights for stuff like
Yeah, well,
that.
I mean, I for all of your workouts, I only just got some wrist weights just a couple of weeks ago. And they're just really light ones. I can't even remember what they are actually, but they were the lightest ones I could get
Yeah.
because I just thought, well, I don't want to injure myself, I just want to
So this
do
is a
it
good
slowly.
point because your body can tone without weights.
Yeah, that's
You,
it.
dancers tone without weights. Yoga
Mhm.
people tone without weights. Your body
Yeah.
can tone with, you can use your own resistance. All this work can be done without weights. What is
Mhm.
weight? What are weights? Then weights are added resistance. That's all it is added resistance. That's it.
Mhm.
Right? So when you're squatting with heavy weights, the body is braced in a particular way. So it gives the appropriate energy resources necessary to lift. But when we're
Mhm.
doing bar and we're doing the dancing stuff with the weights, the attention isn't on the actual weight, it's on the movement of the body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's why we want lighter weights. And I want to clarify that because there's a lot of moving, no pun intended. There's a lot of moving parts happening. And that's why particular weights are picked. But with the dead, and when I did starting to do the heavier weights with more deadlifting, I even say in the video, I tell you the weights that I'm using. I always use 5 pounds for that. In my own practice outside of filming, I use 10 to 15 pounds. But when I'm lifting 10 to 15 pounds in that way, in that repetitive way, that's a challenge for me. Like, especially with 15 pounds to do this over and over again, I start to get sloppy towards the end. And
Mhm.
it takes everything for me to bring that control to not be sloppy because that's where my resistance is. But when I'm filming, I'm going to lessen the weight so that it's cleaner for you to see. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
So there's a cleaner image. It's about you. When I'm filming these workouts, it's not about me, it's about you. And so I need to make sure that I'm in a position with weights that I can totally control it throughout the whole class so that you have clearer sight and more clarity on what I'm asking you to do. And
Mhm.
so, with that all being said as well, I tell you the weights, but I'm always encouraging you to find what works for you. Don't judge it off of me because I'm doing things in a certain way to benefit you. I will
Mhm.
tell you, for example, it's so funny because in the videos, because we're filming, I always tell you to lead right, but I'm always leading left because I'm mirroring you, right? Because I know you're going
Yeah.
to be watching me. So when I say take your right arm, it's always my left arm. And so now even in my life, I've gotten confused sometimes and I'll like go to use my thinking as my because I'm so used to filming that now. So a lot of what's happening is literally for you. And so do not judge anything based on my performance compared to you. If you saw me working in my kitchen, whether in my yoga practice or my strength training practice, you would see where I'm struggling. You would see where I am having, but I'm not going to film that because my job is to be as clean and precise for you as I can. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah. And we don't want to be accidentally copying your weaknesses because we
Right.
have our own weaknesses that we have to work on. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's really big in the yoga world. I was telling you, like in Ashtanga, we never practice in front of our students because we don't want our students picking up our bad habits. And so
Mhm.
I have to be very mindful of that to not make sure that I'm really being able to control my bad habits so you don't develop that from me. And
Mhm.
so again, that just shows you again, do not compare yourself to the teacher, whether it's me or somebody else on the screen. Don't compare yourself because a lot is going into making those videos, and everything going into making those videos is to benefit you. So
Mhm.
you're not seeing that teacher or that trainer's real work. You're not seeing what they're really going through. And we like, as teachers and trainers, I'm sure your trainer, we work in private because it's spiritual for us. Just like you're
Yeah.
working in the privacy of your own home, when we're doing our own work, we're doing it in our private time because we are working through our own shit. Just like you're
Yeah.
working through your own shit, so are we. And so
Mhm.
when we're filming or working with students, it's about you, it's for you, you. But when we do it ourselves, it's about us working. So don't ever, I guess, long story short, to try to compare yourself to the person on the screen is stupid.
Yeah, because
Don't do it.
that's yeah, it's like watching a movie. It's
Yeah.
been done for the performance. So you're performing in a sense to show us what it needs to look like,
Mhm.
but you're not showing us your private work because otherwise that's going to confuse us.
Yeah.
We'd
Because you're
be
going to see me being
adopting your
messy.
bad habits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Hmm.
if it gets to a point where your workout is too clean, then we got to add more work for you to get it messy again because that's where we're finding that balance, that resistance again. And so it's very, and I don't know about personal trainers, but I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of personal trainers don't work out at the gym where they work. They might
Hmm.
work out at home because it does become a different ball game when you're in the industry
Hmm.
because you do want to be able to continue to push yourself forward, but you don't want people watching you. That's why I
Yeah.
rarely ever practice. Like I never go to yoga studios to practice anymore because people know who I am in the yoga world.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be looked at. I want to be able to come and practice and be sloppy and really dive into where I'm working and where I feel my friction in my practice and not worry about having people stare. And I know a lot of authorized teachers are that way. A lot of teachers will not practice. The only shala they'll practice in is in India with their teacher
Right.
because they're
And that's
practicing with their peers, not their students, right? So,
yeah. Hmm.
so I hope that does that relieve, I hope that relieves stress for people. Like the first time you watch a video, you do try and exercise, like it's gonna be messy. You're not gonna
Hmm.
figure out some of the moves. Just walk in place when that happens. You were saying, Paula, you have to do that sometimes. If you feel overwhelmed, don't stop. We want to keep the heart rate going. You just walk in place and watch it
Yeah.
and jump back in when you feel like you can jump back in.
Yeah, and you're always offering different alternatives and different moves so that, if we can't do the more advanced move, you offer us something a bit easier to modify it. And so like, yeah, I just do the modifications when I can't do the harder stuff, but I know that if I just keep going with it, I will get there.
Same with like kicks and knee lifts. Like I can get my leg and my knee a lot higher than a lot of people simply because I've been doing yoga all these years.
Yeah.
My hamstring is really mobile. It's
Hmm.
really mobile because my hip, I can get my leg behind my hip easy, or my leg behind my head easy because I've been doing it for all these years. So, and I say that in the videos, you might not be able to lift your knee as high as me.
Hmm. And that's
Obviously.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, because I've been cranking my leg behind my back for 19 years. Have you? Like, so
Yeah,
so obviously
exactly.
it's not going to have the same range of motion. And
Hmm.
so we work where you are, even if the knee's coming up just a little bit every day, every year, you're going to notice, oh my God, my knee's a little bit more higher, my hamstrings are a little bit more open. So yeah, it's phenomenal. This is, it is exercise. Yeah, it's good for your health. Yeah, it's good for your mind, but ultimately it is a spiritual experience. And
Yeah.
that's what Cindy spoke about, like how we are in our bodies. Like that is where we are. That's the earth
Hmm.
element,
And
right?
yeah, and we've got to be here and experience this right here. We can't be just off with the fairies all the time. And so, even though sometimes it'd be nice to
Oh
go
yeah,
off with
that would
the
be
fairies.
that would be the best. If there was a magic pill that we could just take and just disassociate from our experience and write off on our dragons, fantastic. But that's not reality. That's not what
No.
our soul signed up for the mundane.
Yeah, it
Our
did.
soul signed up to come here to do the 5 a.m. spinning class. Our soul signed up here to do the 4:30 Ashtanga class. Like our soul signed up to to clean the dishes. As Cindy said, make sure everything you touch is a spiritual experiencing. Washing the dishes is spiritual. Doing the
Mhm.
laundry is spiritual.
Yeah.
Packing. for a trip is spiritual. Editing a video is it's all part of it. And so we're not trying, that's the biggest thing. Spirituality, it's not an escape at all.
Yeah.
It's
And I
actually,
think, unfortunately, a lot of people do use it as an escape. But I think when they're doing that, that's not true spirituality,
no,
unfortunately.
that's derangement. That's called Vata derangement.
Yeah.
And
And then
so,
that can lead to some pretty messed up stuff as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
like
So that's just you buying,
psychosis, things
and
like that.
people can warn you, and but if you continue to be in that derangement, guess what? You're gonna have to come back
Hmm.
and do this all over again.
Yeah.
So might as well, if you hate it here so much, might as well just lean into it and just rip the Band-Aid off and just do it.
Yeah. Yep.
And life
And then
gets a
you
lot
can find
better.
that you can find that you can really enjoy it. Because I did go through this like in my 20s. I went through quite a stage of really struggling to be here, be present, and be on Earth basically, and doing all of the earthly stuff. I mean, I had two young girls who were like under 5 in my early 20s, and kids can be very demanding of your time and your attention, and I was struggling with it quite a lot. And I really just wanted to escape a
Yeah.
lot of the time. It was really hard. But I think as I've learned a lot more about myself and about spirituality, like true spirituality, I have learned that it's just about finding the joy in each moment, and finding what is good in the world. I know that, with different theories out there, different conspiracy theories and stuff like that, we can all get caught up with all of that. But then that can sometimes just have a very negative impact on our lives, and we can just feel very, it can be quite depressing and quite hopeless. Whereas if we just remember to just look for the beauty and look for the joy and look for the nice, the special moments that we have. I mean, even just patting an animal. I mean, I'm lucky. Millie, Millie
Yeah.
likes to come every time we're filming now, and just patting and just feeling the purring. I mean, that's such a beautiful healing moment. And there's so much beauty that we have in this world. So I think we just need to spend a little bit more time focusing on that.
Yeah.
If you're struggling to be here, if you're struggling to be present and to be grounded, then maybe you need to focus on finding the little moments of joy in your life, and focus on the things that you're grateful to have in your life.
And that's if you're, yeah, if you're waiting for someone to bring you a med bed, or if you're waiting for someone to bring you Nasara, you're not free. You're not
Because
liberated
you're waiting for something out there.
outside of
Yeah.
yourself. And that's not the point of being a patriot, of being sovereign, is having total independence.
Hmm.
And you have to take that responsibility back. And it makes your life so much better when you're able, when you feel better. And that's, let's not kid ourselves. When you exercise, you feel better. You
You
have more
really
energy.
do.
You
Yeah.
sleep better. You look
Yes.
better. It brings more
Yeah.
vitality back. And I know you have to go soon in a minute, Paula, but we do have one little thing we wanted to tell our audience, didn't we?
Yes, we have some exciting news.
So I created a 10-day shadow work challenge that can be done over and over again. That's why we did 10 days. And it's in video format. So Paula is going to be placing it on tier 1, the
Mhm,
free page over on the Esoteric Academy. And so that's
mhm,
open to the whole general public, whether you're with us, a member of the Academy or not. It is on tier 1, so it's free. Um,
mhm,
and it's letting go. This is the shadow, is that the theme is letting go. So I'm asking you to just pick one thing. You don't have to tell anybody what it is when you do it. One thing that you want to let go of, whether that's jealousy, deceit, overeating, doesn't matter.
mhm,
Doesn't matter. Self-esteem issues, laziness, whatever. And that's what we're going to work on for 10 days. And so there's 19 videos. So day 1 through day 9, there's 2 videos, a part 1 and a part 2. Day 10, there's only 1 video. Okay. We're going to be working with Ganesh. So Ganesh is one of the most popular Hindu deities. I say that lightly because Hinduism is actually a monotheistic religion. They believe God, just these are representatives of different elements of God, right? And Ganesh is probably the most recognizable of
Yeah.
these the elephant. And like we
Mhm.
talked about with Hanuman, these are also elements of yourself. So this is an
Mhm.
element of you, right? So Ganesh is known for being the removal of obstacles and the bringer of obstacles.
Mhm.
He has the wisdom because these obstacles we have in our life, the shadow side, this is actually where our wisdom comes from.
Yeah,
And
100%.
so we're going to be working with that. Part one, we go through the practice for the day. I tell you what type of exercise to look for. So whether you're in the academy, if you're in the academy, I give you hints of what playlist to go to. But if you're outside of the academy, you can also find these exercises on YouTube or whatever. And then the second part is post-workout where we do your journaling and we're going to learn some mantras with some mantras to help you with releasing. And so that's open to everyone. So yeah.
Yeah, which is so very kind of you, Bryce, to share that with everybody. But yeah, we just really want to help people as much as we can and encourage you. And yeah, just give it a go. And if you like it and find it helpful and you want to learn more, then you're always welcome to join the academy and go deeper and yeah, have more
If you want
support.
to join the academy with us, like if you decide you want to just go ahead and sign up for the exercise portion beyond the shadow work challenge, you can use either my name or Paula's name, all
Mhm.
caps 20. So Bryce, BRICE, all caps 20, or Paula, PAULA 20, all caps at checkout. That'll get you 20% off your first 6 months, which
Yeah,
is already
it's a
cheap.
great
Yeah,
deal.
great
Really
deal.
great deal.
And we also give you 7 days for free at the beginning too. So you get a whole
Yeah.
week to like try it before you get charged. So if you have a
Yeah.
week to try it and you decide it's not for you, you can just cancel before you get charged. No problem. Absolutely no problem. We just want you to take your health back. Like, why are you waiting for a med bed when the med bed is already here? It's
Yeah.
your body. It's been your body this whole time. So, like the Wizard of Oz, you've been able to go home this whole time,
Hmm.
right?
Exactly.
So
And
yeah.
we are so lucky to have you as an
Oh, I'm
amazing
lucky to have you guys
guide and
too.
helper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
no,
is all
really.
dedicated. We just had Guru Purnima, so this is all dedicated to my late teacher, Sharat Joyce, who taught me,
Mhm.
and David Grieg. David Grieg's still with us though, but all these teachers that taught me this. Like I
Yeah.
was a beginner at one. Remember that too. Every time you meet a teacher or a trainer, they were beginners at one point too. So I
Exactly.
never thought I would be a teacher of this stuff. I never thought I thought I was just going to be a student, if anything. So,
Yeah.
so always remember that. And this is the least we can do. So I guess we'll put a link to that in the description box, Paula, the 10-day.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. And we've got more stuff coming, guys. We've got more things we're going to be doing. We want to try this out with you guys with the 10-day to see how it works on video format versus the old Shadow Works where it was a template that I sent to you guys. So let's see how this works, and then we're going to move forward with some more stuff as well. So, all right.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. And thank you for joining us, Bryce.
Thank you too.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm gonna pick up my daughter and then get ready for bed.
I'm just starting mine. I'm about to go
Yeah.
film a new 75-minute bar fusion class for the academy.
Oh, very
So, so,
exciting.
all right, you guys. Well, thank
Awesome.
you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.